Guys, Sports Life. Back again for my predictions for Week 6 of the 2016 NFL season. Quickly, last week I went 10-4, so it was probably my one of my best weeks I've had so far. I've been struggling the last few weeks, getting six wins or whatever. So I got 10-4. So this week I'm gonna try to do this video, try to get it uploaded earlier, and I'm just gonna do all of my picks right now instead of just doing a Thursday night game. So like I said, I'm 10-4 from last week, and my overall for the season is 30-33. So I'm still trying to get to 500. But um, the Thursday night game is between the Broncos and the Chargers. The Broncos just coming off of a loss, their first loss of the season to the Falcons, um, and they struggled from the quarterback position with Paxton Lynch getting his first start. Um, he didn't play well, and they had trouble moving the ball, and they actually had trouble stopping the Falcons' offense. And Falcons have an explosive offense, and they were able to take it to the Broncos defense. And I think the key is to running more, trying to establish more of a run game on that defense than the passing game, and I think that's how the Falcons were able to get them. But the Chargers, another disappointing loss that they had was against the Raiders, a division rival, and they lost at the end again. Another fourth quarter loss for them. You know, one of these days they're gonna have to get it together. I think this Thursday night will be the game that they'll surprise the Broncos, and if they're smart, they should come out and try to run it, because I think the Broncos play the pass better because of their pass rush and because they have a very good secondary. So I think the best way to attack this Broncos defense is through the run, and you got to use Melvin Gordon. But if they go out there and play into their hands and let Phillip Rivers throw, they could be in a lot of trouble. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers for that Thursday night game. Next game is the Eagles versus the Redskins, an NFC East division rivalry game. Um, the Eagles, they also got their first loss against the Lions, which I picked last week. I picked the Lions to beat them, and they did. And the Eagles made it an interesting game because they did come back. They were losing by 21 at one point, I believe, in the game, but they did fight back. They came back hard, and you got to give them credit for that. But the Redskins, they had a back and forth game against the Ravens, and they pulled it off. They were able to hold on and pull off the win at home, and they will be at home again. And I just see the Eagles being able to move the ball, and I think that defensive front line for the Eagles will stop the run and also be able to put enough pressure on Kirk Cousins where it'll put that offense in the Redskins offense in a bind enough where the Eagles should be able to pull off that victory. Um, Next up, we got the Steelers versus the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, they're really, really struggling this year. They continue to struggle. They lost to the Titans. The Titans were able to run the ball. Well, Le'Veon Bell is back for the Steelers and is running the ball really well and receiving the ball out of the backfield very well, which is a dual threat from the backfield. Plus Roethlisberger, you got Antonio Brown. I mean, I don't see the Dolphins being able to stop the Steelers' offense. And I think the Steelers' defense has enough to hold off the Dolphins' offense. I mean, the Dolphins still, they got Jarvis Landry. Um, they haven't established their run game like I thought they would this year. They really have not. But they have dynamic players. They have some decent players. But it's just not all coming together yet for them. And the Steelers seem like they've got it together. I mean, anything can happen, but I'm gonna go with the Steelers in this game. The Jaguars versus the Chicago Bears. Um, the Jags were on a bye, so they're coming off their bye week, and they're going to play the Bears, who just lost to the Colts um, in Indianapolis. Well, the Bears will be at home. Now, I like a lot of the play. Blake Bortles is an off and on quarterback. First off, for the Jags, but they have good receivers. They have Allen Robinson. They've got Allen Hurns. Um, they've got good running backs as well. You know, Denard Robinson playing behind T.J. Yeldon. So the Jags have enough to come out there and do it. But the question is, will they do it? They seem to always get in their own way. You know, making mistakes, penalties, those type of things. And I think the key of this game, I'm going to go with the Bears first of all. And the key of this game will be the Bears' running game. I think the Bears will be, if they can establish their run game, it will make things easier for Hoyer. And I think they'll be able to get up on the Jaguars and then be able to hold them. So I'm going to go with the Bears in this game. The Cleveland Browns and the Tennessee Titans. No, yeah, Cleveland Browns and the Titans are next. Um, the Browns, wow, what can I say? They're they continue to struggle. They lost Cody Kessler last week. They just signed Kevin Hogan, which is a quarterback that I liked in the draft. So I'm interested to see how he will do if he's even going to play in this game. I'm not sure, but I'm interested to see how he does with them because I like Kevin Hogan coming out of the draft. Um, I like Jacoby Brissett. I liked Kevin Hogan, and I like Dak Prescott coming out of the draft. I didn't really like Carson Wentz and Goff and Paxton Lynch. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the Browns, they got Terrell Pryor, who is a dynamic player, um, and they just need a quarterback that can move the ball. You know, that can move the ball. They have a good running back in Isaiah Crowell as well. Um, going up against the Titans, who coming off of their victory over the Dolphins last week, and they're at home. DeMarco Murray is having a really decent year, running the ball as well as receiving, and even Derrick Henry got into the act last week for them um, in the run game. Mariota, he's having an up and down. He's having a sophomore year season, I think, but I think he'll be good enough with that team, and I think the defense will be able to stop the Browns. You know, for a change, the Titans defense should be able to stop them, and I think this offense should be able to move the ball and score points. So I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans. We got the Bengals and the Patriots. The Bengals just coming off the loss. I mean, being destroyed by the Cowboys. And the Patriots just had the victory over the Browns last week with the return of Tom Brady, and they had a big game. So this is a big matchup here. Bengals have to be down. They really have to regroup, and it is really what Bengals team shows up. You know, and if they believe, and maybe playing the Patriots is enough to get them up for this game, and that's what I'm thinking. Because I think their line struggled last week against the Cowboys. You know, their offensive line struggled against the Cowboys D line, and their D line was shoved around the whole game by the Cowboys offensive line. Now the Patriots don't have the offensive line that the Cowboys have, so I don't see that happening in this game. And I think the Bengals might come out and surprise the Patriots. The Patriots are a very good team, and but I'm gonna go on a limb and go with the Bengals in this one. 49ers and Bills. The Niners are starting Colin Kaepernick, and they're going up against a very good Bills defense. It's like, wow, you get back and you got to play the Bills defense. So, but the Bills have a very good defense. Their offense is ticking. They're really on the uptick. They'll be at home for this game, but something is telling me the 49ers will come out and shock them. I think Kaepernick in that offense will work well because he's more of a running threat than Blaine Gabbert ever was, and he's more dangerous that you're gonna have to keep an eye on um, Kaepernick, and then they have Carlos Hyde. So I think that might be enough to surprise the 49ers. I mean, sorry, surprise the Bills. Now the key is, can the 49ers stop the Bills offense? That's the key. But I'm going to go with the 49ers, go on another limb. Ravens versus the Giants. Ravens just lost to the Redskins. Giants just lost to the Vikings. Giants are at home. They're on both teams on a bit of a losing streak, so this is going to be a desperation game for both of them. Probably more desperate for the Giants, and the fact that they're at home, and I think that's who I'm going to pick. The the Ravens. I know Steve Smith was hurt last week. I'm not sure if he'll play in this game. If he doesn't, that's going to really hurt the Ravens offense. The Ravens need to establish the run, and I'm gonna say it again for the Giants defense. The Giants, their D line has to play better. They have to get pressure on Flacco. If they don't, then they're gonna be in trouble once again. I think that team wins to that D line. If the D line's not winning the game, it's gonna be a tough tale. But I expect them to step up in this game and add some pressure, and the Giants will be able to win at home and get a victory. The Rams versus the Lions. The Rams coming off of a tough game against the Bills and a loss at home, and now they go on the road to play Detroit in the Dome. And I think that this defense will step up and get another victory for the Rams, and they'll be able to get the pressure on that offense. They'll be able to stop the Lions' run, and I think it's going to make that Lions offense one dimensional, and they'll be able to tee off that D line with Aaron Donald and the group. So I'm going to go with the Rams in that game. Panthers versus the Saints. Panthers, I'm not sure if Cam will be back for this game. If he is, then I'm thinking he should be. And I think he'll be able to rally the troops. They're talk about desperation. They're in a desperate sense. The Saints are coming off of a bye and they're at home. So I was really leaning on picking the Saints. They had beaten the Chargers, so they went into their bye on a high. And, Drew Brees, you never want to count those guys out. But I don't like the Saints defense. And I think if Cam plays, the Panthers will be able to move the ball on them. And Derek Anderson, I think, can move the ball on that Saints defense. I'm not impressed by the Saints defense. So for that reason, I'm picking the Panthers. Um, Chiefs and the Raiders, another AFC West division game going on. Chiefs were also on a bye last week, and the Raiders, of course, got that victory against the Chargers at home, and the Raiders will be at home again. This game will be a tough one. It'll be a defensive game, and if it's a high-scoring game, I see the Raiders winning. If it's a defensive, low-scoring game, I think the Chiefs will be able to pull that off. I think the Chiefs' defense will be enough to slow them down, and if the Chiefs' offense can play ball control, you've got your running back is back now, Jamal Charles, and Alex Smith, who's the great game manager. I think that'll be enough to knock the Raiders off. Then we go Cowboys and Packers, the rematch of the was it a catch or not game from the playoffs. It's I think Dez will be playing. It's another big test on the table for Dak Prescott. But one thing I'm gonna say, that Cowboys offensive line is the best in football right now, and it's gonna take some. Now I'm at the point with that what I saw them do last week to a very good front seven of the Bengals. I got to see a defense that won't get pushed around by this Cowboys offensive line. Um, you know, Ezekiel Elliott had a 60-yard run when he was untouched. And most of the game from beginning, he was breaking 10-yard runs without being touched, to the end. And that line played, I mean, an amazing game. And I can see them. I'm going to go with that. I don't think the Packers can stop that run game. I don't think they can stop the run game, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott or whether it's Alfred Morris. I don't think they can stop that run game. And the Packers did not look that great against the Giants on Sunday night. They struggled on offense. So I'm gonna pick the Cowboys in this one. Um, Falcons and the Seahawks. Falcons are their offense is really impressive. It's really impressive, and now they have a good balance as well on offense with the running game and the passing game. And they're going into Seattle where you got the 12th man, and it's tough to play up there. You got Russell Wilson. You, the Seahawks are a championship team, and um, it's going to be a battle. But I don't think the Seahawks will be able to stop the Falcons because I think the Falcons will run the ball with Freeman, and I think sometimes when you run it right at the Seattle Seahawks, they seem to struggle more in those type of situations. So they're gonna have to play power ball against Seattle. And the Falcons head coach is a former Seattle Seahawks defensive coordinator. So I think he's gonna have some familiarity with what they like to do, and I think that'll be enough for the Falcons to beat the Seahawks. Next game, you got the Colts versus the Texans. AFC South division game. Texans at home. They're struggling. Brock Osweiler is struggling. They have talent on that team, but they haven't gotten it together. The Vikings were able to really shut them down um, this week. The Colts got a tough victory against the Bears. Uh, the Texans will have to get it together, but I think Andrew Luck and this offense found something last week, and I think they're going to piggyback and build off of what they just did. The Texans, they're still struggling on defense. Watt's gone for the season. They're struggling on offense, and I think the Colts will beat them. And last but not least, the Monday night game with the Jets and the Cardinals. The Jets, speaking of struggling, they're still struggling, and they lost to the Steelers. Cardinals are also struggling as well, and they beat the 49ers, though, on the last Thursday night game. And the Cardinals will be at home. So the team that I see that will be able to pick this up for a victory in this game will be the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals defense will be able to put some pressure on Fitzpatrick and cause some turnovers. And the Jets defense, it's up and down, but they're not world beaters. And I think the Cardinals will be able to move the ball on them and get points. And I don't think it'll be a high scoring game, because I think a high scoring game in this one would favor the Jets, but it won't be a high scoring game. But the Cardinals will pull off the victory. So that's all the picks for Week 6. Let me know what you think.